Hello everyone. Oftentimes when I am at quilt shows with my patterns, I find myself trying to explain about using freezer paper to applique. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to just make a quick little video on how I often use freezer paper to applique. Here are two quilt patterns that I have. There's probably more, but these two will sort of give you an idea. This is my Happy Campground. My Happy Campground is full of happy campers. Some of the campers are the side view, and some of the campers are the back of the camper. And there's little trees. It's just a fun little quilt, which is easy to change. Just use like 4 campers if you just want a small wall quilt. So my Happy Campground is pretty fun. It's fun to make, and it uses the A thing, applique. But applique is so much fun, and it as far as I'm concerned, it gives you a great tool to use if you're a quilter to make a lot more things. Another pattern that uses applique with freezer paper is this one right here. These are dancing barns. Barns which like to dance, and they're table runners. But these are the dancing barns that are the more conservative kind. They are your line dancing barns. And you can see they're dancing in a line. And then, if you're a little bit more risque, you might be interested in the pole dancing barns, because they like to dance on pole. Both of these barn table mats have to use applique with freezer paper. And so I thought I would show you how easy it is, and we'll look at an example. Now the example that I'm going to show you is with a camper, but the same thing is done with the barns. In order to use freezer paper for your applique, and this is in my patterns also, you need to get some regular freezer paper, and I will and trace the pattern from the pattern, trace the template from the pattern onto freezer paper. And I have one. Here is the side view of the camper. I also, for the campers, I did the back end of the camper. So you trace it onto a piece of freezer paper, and then you place that freezer paper tracing onto another piece of freezer paper. Lay them so that the shiny side is down, and then put another shiny side on top. You don't want to press them with a hot iron, no steam. And so I might put 2 or 3 pieces of freezer paper together. These at least have 2, they may have 3. What you end up with is a nice stiff template. One side has the shiny side, and one side is the paper side. So you have your template, then you get a piece of fabric, and this one is the side view. So you find a piece of fabric that is, I think it tells you in the pattern, I'm not sure the size, but it's big enough to fit this. And you lay your template out on top, and I just traced around it with a pencil. Then you're not going to cut on this pencil line. Instead, you cut a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch along the outside. Doesn't have to be exact. This is going to be folded under, and so we just want something to fold under. And do it all the way around. Now this bottom part's a little wide there, but that's okay. Now then, you're going to take your paper that has the shiny side, you're going to put it on your ironing board on fabric. I'm going to come over here. I am going to press with the iron, and my iron is right now on steam. We don't want steam because we don't need steam, we just need the heat. And we're going to press this down onto the, and we're going to hope it still works. Now, the wonderful thing about this is that you can use it over and over and over again, especially if you have a new sheet there. My sheet doesn't want to press very well. Probably because it's been used on many campers. And then you're just going to fold over the fabric. In order to fold over the fabric, I get a bowl or a cup or something, spray some either starch or spray sizing in there. Use a brush, cheap little brush, and wet the fabric on the outside. And then you're going to press it down with your fingers, and then touch the iron to it. And you're going to go all the way around so that this is pressed to the back of the paper. And when you have it, and some of the places are going to fold over one another, but it will press down all the way around. And if I went ahead and did it, it would be just like that all the way around the edge. The bottom is pressed up also. And then the other parts, the beauty of this is these parts are also fusible applique. These parts are made with using like Steamacine 2 light or something. So this is just regular paperback fusible web. This guy, and these two. If you try to do, well, and you could do the whole camper with a big piece of fusible web, but if you have fusible web on fusible web, it gets really thick to sew through. So instead, when you take this and you put it on top of just the regular fabric, you're only having one layer with fusible web on it. It's much easier to sew through. And then, after you fuse this down, you lay it on your background, you have this down, you put your wheel on, you get everything on your background square, and you can stitch around it with a blanket stitch. You do need to stitch around the outside. You do need to stitch around everything that you fuse down. And the little, I guess, the stabilizer for the camper, the wheels, inside the window. So you do need to do a blanket stitch. Blanket stitch is very easy and can be done in matching thread or maybe some fun, pretty thread, but doesn't take long, and it really allows you to do a lot of fun things. The same exact thing is done on the barns. This is done on the freezer paper. This part is a fusible web applique. There is an open part in the barn so that you can put the block inside. So here's the freezer paper pieces for the barn, and they're freezer paper applique. So I think it's a great tool to have in your quilting toolbox so that you can make lots of fun quilts, dancing barns, and happy campers.